1. President Biden told the audience at a historically black university commencement ceremony white supremacy is the most dangerous terrorist threat facing the U.S.
2. This is completely bonkers.
Outkick founder Clay Travis tweeted.
Did anyone talk like this in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, or even 2010s? Of course not. Yet suddenly white supremacy is the biggest threat in America? I don't even think it's one of the 50 biggest threats.
3. Barack and Michelle Obama watch daughter Sasha, 21, graduate from USC. Photos. The entire Obama family attended the USC commencement ceremony on May 12 to celebrate Sasha's graduation, including her parents, Barack and Michelle.
4. The United Kingdom has decided to send a significant number of air defense missiles and armed drones to Ukraine. In addition to the previously announced Storm Shadow cruise missiles, this support aims to enhance Ukraine's defense capabilities. 5. The move means the UK is going further than any other country in providing weapons with the potential to tip the battlefield in Ukraine's favor. 6. Turkey will have a runoff election on May 28 after longtime leader President Erdogan was forced into a second round with only a narrow lead over his rival, Kemal.
7. Neither candidate achieved the required 50% to take the presidency outright, after 100% of ballot boxes were opened, according to Turkey's Supreme Election Council. 8. Official final results for Turkey's election will be announced on Friday, the chairman of Turkey's Supreme Election Council said. The voter turnout rate is 88.92%.
9. With the final count, the electorate will turn to a second round of voting that could extend Erdogan's 20-year grip on power, or set the stage for a change in political direction. 10. The family of 5 sat down for an interview, and Stallone's daughters weighed in on how hard it is to bring dates home to meet the Rocky star, the family Stallone.
1. Former President Trump said Monday that Democrats need to be held accountable for spending years investigating alleged collusion between Trump and Russia after Durham's report. 2. McCarthy tells reporters, "We collectively should be able to get together. Unfortunately, we had to wait 97 days to get in a room and come to an agreement." 3. If you look at the timeline to pass something in the House and pass something in the Senate, you've got to have something done by this week, and we are nowhere near any of that, McCarthy added.
4. Last week, Biden, McCarthy and other leaders agreed to hold staff-level talks on how to raise the debt ceiling before the government is unable to pay its current obligations by early June. 5. An American citizen who was imprisoned for spying in China is actually a veteran supporter of the pro-Beijing stance. This individual had close associations with senior Chinese officials. 6. The leader of the Russian private military company Wagner claimed a U.S. citizen died in the embattled Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, in a video posted on the Wagner Telegram group on Tuesday.
7. Russia's Air Force may have just suffered one of its worst days since the Ukraine war began. Unconfirmed reports say that 4 of its aircraft were shot down within Russian territory, in what would mark a significant coup for Ukraine. 8. Russia launches a fresh attack on Kyiv as Ukraine claims Moscow is on the back foot. See state of Russian missiles after Ukraine intercepts 18 of them.
9. The United Arab Emirates has invited Syrian President Assad to attend the United Nations COP28 climate summit, which will take place from November 30th in Dubai. 10. The Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton comparisons continue, as some were quick to bash Kate Middleton for copying the Duchess of Sussex with her dress choice.
11. Laughter, Jennifer said. Laughter is great. But being best friends, I think, as well. We are just very comfortable with each other. She continued, we have so much fun. We can be doing nothing and just enjoy every minute of it. We don't get bored of each other. 1. President Biden said Wednesday that he will not accept any of the Medicaid work requirements in the Republican debt ceiling plan, leaving no room for negotiation even as he admitted to supporting work requirements in the past. 2. I'm not going to accept any work requirements that's going to impact the medical health needs of people, Biden told reporters Wednesday. 3. I'm not going to accept any work requirements that go much beyond what is already. Well, I voted years ago for the work requirements that exist, but it's possible there could be a few others, but not anything of any consequence. 4. The special counsel investigating the former president is set to receive 16 records that show he knew the correct process for declassifying documents.
5. Tens of thousands of migrants that have flooded into the Empire State in recent months, the crisis has caused a number of hot political controversies. 6. Mayor Adams enraged officials outside of the city when he began busing migrants to Orange and Rockland County. Meanwhile, the Big Apple has seen protests and more anger over the decision to move migrants into public school gyms. 7. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis said students and teachers in Sunshine State schools will never be forced to declare pronouns while signing a measure to protect children and parental rights. 8. This bill ensures Florida students and teachers will never be forced to declare pronouns in school or be forced to use pronouns not based on biological sex, DeSantis said of HB 1069 from a press conference in Tampa.
9. The evolving patchwork of access to abortion care is going through big changes this week, with the entire Southeast on the brink of imposing new limits. Bans of states restricting abortion access could soon extend the entire length of the country.
10. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan were involved in a chaotic car chase with paparazzi in New York on Tuesday night that could have resulted in a catastrophic outcome. 1. Biden had his second meeting on the debt limit with McCarthy and other congressional leaders on Tuesday, just before jetting off to Japan for the Group of Seven summit.
2. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is setting up a possible financial crisis on President Biden, the Republican leader indicated on Wednesday, declaring that it would be the Biden default. 3. Our debt is larger than our economy, by more than 20%. If we do nothing, we will pay more in interest in the next 10 years than we paid in the last 83, God forbid you get a Biden default because he ignores the problem just as he ignored the border. 4. China boasts that spycrafts could be used as weapons against enemies. Chinese military doctrine differs from Beijing's official response to the spycraft controversy. Omnipotent weapon.
5. A new report reveals that official sources from the Chinese People's Liberation Army refute their own foreign ministry claims that its spy balloons are merely for meteorological research and details the offensive military usages of the near-space vehicles. 6. United Kingdom Defence Minister Ben Wallace said long-range Storm Shadow missiles, which were provided to Ukraine by Britain, have been used since the deployment was announced. 7. All I can say is it is my understanding that it has been used since we announced its deployment to Ukraine, but I'm not going to go into further details.
8. Journalists come, take pictures and go home, shouted Bilal Nabhan, his voice hoarse, his eyes bloodshot. They come, take pictures and go home. 9. Thailand's opposition won a landslide in elections. But will the military elite let them rule? 10. People say I'm a funny guy, Finnish rapper Rishi says, but I always tell them, I'm just a normal guy from Finland. I just want to make people happy when I walk on stage and do my crazy things, Rishi says. 11. Lobsters, saunas, smoothies. A complete guide to Eurovision 2023. 1. The annual gathering includes the world's 7 wealthiest democracies: Japan, the United States, the UK, France, Germany, Canada, and Italy. 2. The European Union, although not an official G7 member, also dispatches representatives. More recently, hosts have invited additional countries at their discretion. 3. This year's host, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, has invited 8 more guests to the summit, which starts on Friday in Hiroshima.
4. It is certainly a sign of the thorny agenda that ranges from the war in Ukraine to how much food reaches our own dinner plates. 5. And it is also evidence of a rapidly changing international order, with much of the conversation focusing on 2 countries that are not on the guest list, Russia and China. 6. But the economic might of the G7 is waning. In 1990, the group accounted for just over half of the world's GDP. Now it's just under 30%. It needs influential new friends.
7. So Mr. Kishida, who is seeking a more global rather than Western coalition, has extended the table to accommodate Australia, India, Brazil, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Comoros, and the Cook Islands. 8. Zelensky has accused some Arab leaders of turning a blind eye to Russia's invasion ahead of his expected appearance at the G7 summit in Japan.
9. The United States and Taiwan reached an agreement on the first stage of a bilateral trade initiative on Thursday in a move that demonstrates an increasingly robust relationship between Washington and Taipei. 10. The Education Department of the United States has issued a warning regarding schools promoting private prayer and other religious activities.
11. Biden heads overseas as Congress negotiates debt bill. As Congress negotiates a debt bill, President Biden is traveling abroad. 1. The Biden administration has resisted providing Ukraine with F-16 warplanes but may now step aside as other countries with access to the planes consider providing them. 2. President Biden will have a key opportunity to bring a number of top countries, including Asian partners, in line on issues surrounding China and Russia. 3. Top central banks plan to suck $2 trillion out of the global economy over the next 2 years.
4. New York homeless men say they were offered money to pose as military veterans and falsely claim they were pushed out of a hotel to make room for migrants. 5. U.S. President Joe Biden informed G7 leaders Friday that the U.S. will support a joint effort with allies and partners to train Ukrainian pilots on advanced aircraft, including F-16s. 6. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy has framed his pitch for Western fighter jets as a matter of his country's survival, now more than 1 year since Russia launched its full-scale invasion.
7. At the G7 summit in Japan, Ukrainian leader Zelensky is a surprise attendee, arriving as U.S. President Joe Biden gave his backing to training Ukrainian pilots in advanced aircraft, including F-16s. 8. Zelensky is meeting a range of world leaders at the G7. Allies pledged to support Ukraine against Russian aggression for as long as it takes in a joint statement. 9. In the Ukrainian capital, Russia launched a fresh drone attack against Kyiv in the early hours of Saturday, its 11th airstrike on the city this month.
10. Russia's deputy foreign minister has warned Western countries of enormous risks for themselves if Ukraine is provided with F-16 fighter jets. 11. 22 years of the Fast and the Furious movies have created enough characters and history for cameos and callbacks aplenty in Fast X. 12. Despite the familiar faces either extensively featured or who just drive by, the defining element of the latest movie resides in its new villain, Dante, played with wild, over-the-top gusto by Jason Momoa.